I'm Glenn McGuinness, and this is Outburst. This week, should Canada cut ties with the monarchy?
The Commonwealth has absolutely no benefit to Canadians.
I think I'm more of a royalist than not.
You know, I think we got bigger issues to deal with.
I don't even know why this is a thing.
But first, as the vaccine rollout gains some momentum, the National Advisory Committee on Immunization has recommended the provinces and territories delay the time between the first and second doses of the vaccine to 4 months in order to help maximize the number of Canadians getting their first dose. But with the third wave already underway in some areas and the dangers of COVID variants still out there, are you okay with spacing out your vaccine shots? Our question: are you okay with waiting 4 months between vaccine doses?
No, we actually just got vaccinated this week, and we were shocked to find out. We thought we'd be getting the second dose in 2 weeks, and it's now 4 weeks, so 4 months.
Rather than follow the instructions on the box.
Which are?
Sooner than 4 weeks. So that didn't feel so comfortable. But I get that they want to get everybody a first shot. So got to have mixed emotions. And we're also lucky to get it early, so just sort of going with the flow.
Yes.
Why?
Because it sounds like the science is saying it's okay. And the first dose seems to give you quite a bit of protection. So I think waiting a little bit more for the second dose in order for more people to be vaccinated is okay.
So if the doctors are supporting it, that's how I would look at it. You know, I think we gotta all pull in together and make sure we get vaccinated, and whatever gets the most people vaccinated is the best thing, I think.
That's how we've been living our lives. We follow the instructions. We wear our masks. We stay away 6 feet away from people. We don't have people in our houses. Like, my husband and I are following all the instructions, so I feel like we should follow the instructions of the vaccines.
If the first dose is as effective, if the second dose doesn't follow quickly, then I'd be fine with it. 4 months doesn't seem that bad.
Yeah, I guess, yeah.
To be completely honest, I don't really care when I get it, as long as I get it.
No, I think that's very long wait. And I know they did that because they want everybody protected with the first dose because there's a shortage of vaccine. But when there's no more shortage of vaccine and more vaccines are coming, I think we should be vaccinated within 4 weeks.
I mean, I don't like it, but if that's the way it has to be, you know, I'm just a small fish in a big sea. Like, if I have to wait, then I have to wait. I'm not high priority or anything like that. I'm a pretty young, healthy person, and I'm not really, you know, putting too many people at risk, but I would like to see it sooner.
For the old people, yeah, them need to go fast, you know what I mean? For the youngest, them can wait, you know what I mean? This is my opinion, you know what I mean?
It's not what I prefer, but am I okay with it? I think I'd rather get a shot than not get a shot.
Even if it is 4 months apart?
Yep.
Okay, sir.
Absolutely. If there's evidence or some evidence to support that it can still be effective, if the benefits can outweigh the risks, then absolutely get more people vaccinated as fast as we can and catch up to them later on without putting them at undue risk. I'm all for it.
Not everybody even wants it. So that's another thing too. It may be a safety thing. Maybe eventually you won't be able to travel, you won't be able to go to restaurants or even do movie theaters, but it's a choice, and we're Canadians, so.
I'm personally not pro-vaccine. If I'm honest with you, I don't really care what they do with it. I'm not someone that's going to be taking it.
Why?
I don't want to put something forward in my body. If I'm honest, I let my body combat whatever virus comes my way, but putting something forward that's not really tested, not for me.
I think so. I think if you just keep, doing what we're doing with the measures of social distancing and the masks, I don't really see that being as any kind of a problem. So yes, I'm okay with that.
I would rather it be closer together. I would rather that they go by the original, 2 months at the very most sort of thing. I would rather that happen. However, I know that there's an awful lot going on and there's so many changes, and I know COVID is quite elusive. So I do trust the medical beings to do what they can for the majority of the people.
So I have a different opinion. I am not okay, but really there's nothing that we could do. I think Canada dropped the ball a little bit on the vaccine rollout. And from what I've read, obviously I'm no expert, but there hasn't been enough research done. So I hear on the news that, Canada is experimenting with a 4-month waiting period because initially it was only supposed to be 21 days. So they extended it like more than double. But I mean, they must know what they're doing. Otherwise, why would they put so many Canadian citizens at risk? But if it were my choice, I wouldn't wait that long.
For me, I need the one shot, comfort-wise. I mean, you're not going to get 30 million people going back for a second dose, 100%. So you're going to have a good portion of folks that aren't going to, continue. No, so for me, no, I'm not. I would like the one shot, I think.
For me, I would say it's not ideal, but if it's the best course of action based on what we have available to us to get more people vaccinated sooner, then I'm okay with it.
Personally, I just don't want to think of it in a way where it's negative. I'm just grateful for all of it. So it's like if we have to wait 4 months, we have to wait 4 months. It is what it is. What are you going to do?
The image of the royal family has been taking a beating lately. Many of us have seen the interview Oprah Winfrey did with Meghan and Harry, or perhaps you heard about the allegations leveled against Prince Andrew. Or here at home, a damning workplace review at Rideau Hall resulted in the resignation of Julie Payette as Governor General. But there are some Canadians who hold the monarchy close to their hearts. It is, after all, part of the Canadian fabric. But there are others who feel we should move on from the royals. Barbados, for example, will remove the Queen as their head of state soon. So, here in Canada, should they stay or should they go? Our question.
Should Canada cut ties with the monarchy?
Yes, they absolutely should cut ties with the monarchy. The Commonwealth has absolutely no benefit to Canadians, and I think that it's a very archaic system. It doesn't really work into modern Canadian society or culture, and I think we need to cut ties with that.
I don't think we should worry about it too much, but I'm not going to come on here and say that I hate the monarchy or anything like that. I mean, they're just that's Britain's institution as far as I'm concerned.
I think it's always useful to re-examine old traditions, understand how they fit with today's current situation, today's reality, and see if there's some way to ensure that the original reason for the formation of the monarchy, which was to represent Canada, provide a sovereign head of state, can still do that effectively in today's reality.
Yeah.
Why?
Well, it's outdated. It's not up to date with how we moving forward with how today's lives are. Not just millennials, but in general, those are old fashions, old views, and they don't really fit for today's world anymore.
I think they need the referendum. I think is best thing for the political.
A referendum?
Yeah, for ask people who want that or not. That's it.
I'm a big supporter of the Queen and the monarchy, and I think the interview was trashy. I don't support it at all.
I don't think so, because when you take a look what's happening down in the States, they have no monarchy, what a mess. So I think we are, even though I'm Eastern European origin, and when I first came to Canada, I kind of didn't believe in monarchy, but it kind of grew on me.
I think we got bigger issues to deal with. So there's a lot of tradition there. There's a lot of value that comes out of our relationship with Britain and the UK. I think we just leave that for another day.
Should we cut ties with everything? It's tradition. It's tradition. As a child, I'm Canadian. I grew up singing to the Queen. If the Queen was in our classroom, we'd sing "O Canada." There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. And I honestly feel we should focus more on saving people's lives and getting the vaccine and keeping people safe over worrying about the monarchy. Let's just keep it. I feel it's fine.
I think the whole thing is ridiculous that there is a monarchy still and that it's funded by taxpayers. I mean, we're part of the Commonwealth, so I don't know how that would actually work. But yeah, I mean, I don't think as an average Canadian, I feel any kind of special connection to that institution.
The Queen has been, I think, a hardworking lady, and although we may not necessarily see her as commoners like we are, and maybe she doesn't hug her kids the same as we do, or you know, I mean, but everybody has their different way of doing things. I think she's done a very good job, and she's worked very hard.
Oh man, Canada should have cut its ties with the monarchy ages ago. Like, I don't even know why this is a thing. It's just insane to me. Like, enough with colonization. I don't know why we still have ties with them. I don't know why there needs to be this figurehead position. I think they should be supported by England or the UK alone, and we need to just stay out of it.
I don't think so. I don't think so. I'm not ready to see that change. But again, it's about high-level figures having, you know, responsibility about what they're doing and being socially conscious and you know, working together to make changes that are actually for the better.
I don't think there's any need to go down that road. I think the monarchy, it's a family. It has its issues. It has very big issues right now. But Canada needs that stability with the monarchy, and I think that would be a sad road to go down. Our history is founded on that.
Personally, I think that Canada should sever its ties with the monarchy. I just don't see the point of continuing to be under the influence of the monarchy in any way. Yeah, that's where I stand.
I think I'm more of a royalist than not. I would like to see Queen Elizabeth remain Canada's queen. I understand there's all kinds of money involved in all of that, but I tend to favor the monarchy.
We as Canadians, millions of dollars of taxpayers' money is still going towards the monarchy. It's still going towards the firm, the institution, what have you, to make sure that they still live in the beautiful golden palaces and fly on their planes and get all the free things that they want to have, because we work hard and provide the funds for that. That's unbelievable to me. That's one thing. And then the fact that they have built this entire institution, it's founded on the oppression of people like the First Nations, Inuit, Métis, all the Indigenous people here in Canada, and all the other nations of the Commonwealth that also have those same people. It just blows my mind that we are still supporting it, that when they announce they're coming, that we scurry to the streets to welcome them with our parades and stuff. It's got to end. Think of what that money could go towards. There are so many possible options for what that money could go towards. It could go towards the truth and reconciliation that we have been preaching for years, and it's just not happening when you're still supporting an institution that's founded on colonialism. And that is like the history of this land. I don't know how people could still be supporting them. So yes, end of the monarchy. Sayonara, my queen.
When was the first time a reigning British monarch toured Canada? 1867, 1939, or 1956?
1867.
1939.
Oh, well, I'm going to say 1956.
1939.
1956?
1939. Oh, we each get a choice? Oh, we can like double up here? Well, then I'll go with 56, because one of them's going to be right.
The answer, 1939. Very good.
Very good.
If you're a couple, you may high-five each other.
All right.
In 1939, King George VI and Queen Elizabeth became the first reigning monarchs of Canada to visit this country. The first royal tour saw them visit Canada for a month, from May 17th to June 15th, touring every Canadian province and the Dominion of Newfoundland. The trip also included a 4-day stop in the U.S. As they traveled the country by train, they were greeted by enormous crowds wherever they went, including in America. The trip also helped to strengthen ties between the Dominion of Canada and the Crown on the eve of World War II, and to this day is still considered the most successful royal visit in Canadian history.
The Trudeau government has been facing some criticism lately over its vetting process in appointing people to high-level positions. Former Chief of Defense Staff Jonathan Vance and his successor Admiral Art MacDonald are both under investigation after allegations of inappropriate conduct from within the military. The Prime Minister has suggested his government will now have a more robust approach when appointing people to these positions. He also announced a special advisory board which will recommend to him candidates for the job of Governor General. So, how would you improve the selection process? Our question.
How could the federal government improve its screening for high-level appointments?
You know, that is something that I've been disappointed in, absolutely. I think that they obviously need to do a little bit more fact-checking and have perhaps more people involved from different types of government and the public, I think, in making those decisions.
I'm sorry, somebody should have said something much earlier. Everybody's had that really bad boss that they just don't want to deal with. Speak up. We're in a society where you can speak up. Do it.
They need to go back to the beginning. They need to do an investigation. What is wrong with the system now? And do it properly and do it methodically and figure out how they can improve it. Without just haphazardly saying, oh, we should do this, we should do that. Let's actually figure out what we really need to do.
By changing the Prime Minister.
What else?
Well, he's been at the heart of many of the scandals that he's just skated through, which I think is terrible. And I think I think more than just the Prime Minister ought to be involved in selecting the Governor General, and there should be a vetting process more like the U.S.
They should.
Yeah.
I that one baffles my mind, how you could have a history of similar behavior and it not being vetted in the due diligence process. So yeah, weird. I think they should do more.
I know for the defense staff, a lot of it are like sexual misconduct allegations that have been brought up against them. I think something that needs to be done is, what they continue to do is encourage women to speak out that are part of the military so that hopefully these allegations come forward before they're in a position of so much power.
I think that what's come out in the last year, especially with all the media coverage, is that people are being held accountable for their behavior and the decisions that they make in life. And sometimes it takes some information to come to light, but it doesn't mean that the government, maybe they didn't know at the time about that information. So if they'd done a better screening and a better vetting process, maybe they could have exposed some things earlier, for sure.
I definitely think that everything can be better than it is right now, for sure. Screening can definitely be improved. With Julie Payette, I just don't know what makes an astronaut really qualified for the role that she took on, and maybe that's me. I'm not as informed in the screening process and what qualifications they have to be able to take on a role like that. But it's I think it definitely can be improved. I think if some of it has to do with transparency, maybe they need to get more similar to what you're doing right now, getting more public opinion on what that process should look like. And so I don't know enough about the process to say unbiasedly what it should be, but I think things can always be better. And somewhere else, someone's always doing something better. So yeah, why not?
The Payette thing to me was something that never should have happened. Surely before she was appointed, there would have been some indication of her temperament or her lack of judgment in some situations, if indeed those are all true allegations. I don't know. But yes, I do think there should be some very serious investigation into the vetting process.
I think in any sort of role where it's somebody's choice to choose, there's always going to be some sort of who you know is going to work in your favor. If you scratch my back, I'll scratch yours, is going to come into play a little bit. But yeah, I guess if there was some sort of outlined process that's public knowledge on how people get appointed, and there needs to be a certain criteria, like they all have to submit their resumes for the job and not just getting appointed because they're somebody's friend.
It definitely seems so, yes. I think too much of it is based on networking, who you know, and not enough of asking the common people, I guess, for lack of a better term.
Well, have a more robust committee looking at who the potential hire is and not just rushing through based on first thought of, whatever their political reputation is or what could be good for whatever party is in power, but actually taking the time to be thorough about it and, make the right decision for everyone.
I don't know. I think before you assume a position like that of such high authority, you just need to come out and air out the things that you've done, because these things can't come as a surprise, because people are going to find these things out. I don't think you can really bank on any screening process being 100% effective. So people just need to, people who are applying for or in line for these high positions need to be honest with themselves and just come out and be forward about it.
Oh, that's a tough question. There's more than just a background check. Mental illness is not only, but there's a lot going on in someone's head that you can't really tell. So I don't think we have technology enough for that today, right? So, but a serious background check, and it can't just be like a couple of months or just going back. You need to go through it, fine comb and everything.
Year one of the COVID-19 pandemic has been a profound learning experience for nations all around the world, and Canada is certainly no exception. Our government had to act fast to provide financial support to those who need it, which eventually evolved into a vaccine procurement and rollout. So we took to the streets to ask Canadians how they think things are going. Our question:
has the federal government done a good job with the pandemic?
I think there's been some glitches, as you would expect in a pandemic, but there's been a lot of money that's been pumped into the economy, and I think a lot of businesses have been able to take advantage of that. Now, there's always going to be somebody that kind of falls through the cracks, but I think for the most part, if we looked at the rest of the countries in the world and compared ourselves, I wouldn't say Canada is lagging significantly. They're not doing too bad of a job.
And I just think that Canada's done a pretty pitiful job, truthfully, at the end of the day in the whole pandemic. I mean, Tam has done a good job in information and getting it out there and, keeping people appraised. But it's been up and down, on and off, in and out, 10 people, 5 people, closed, open, gyms, blah, blah, blah. It's been very confusing and I think very taxing, especially, I know for me, it was exhausting in and out.
Maybe an A-. I feel like they've done the best that they could have done with the information that they had in every given moment. And you can only use the information that you have to make decisions. So I think an A-. I think they've done a great job.
It's hard to not feel separate from the federal government when it comes to health decisions, because a lot of the things are decided here at home within the province. So I feel quite removed in terms of what the province has done. I feel like everyone here is turning to our leadership provincially more than our leadership federally. And so it's hard to have an opinion because I think we're paying more attention to current events that are going on more locally. But in terms of the federal government's response, I think everyone's just doing the best that they can try to do at this point. And so I think a B range grade is pretty fair. I think the only country who's really getting an A+ right now is Israel. So
yeah. I'm embarrassed, because I am a public servant, to see that we've had things like stockpiles of protective equipment go to waste because they wasn't properly managed. That we don't have proper, infrastructure in place amongst our public health agencies to communicate, that we were working off old data systems. So that part embarrasses me. However, this is a once-in-a-lifetime event, and we hope, and it's hard to prepare for these things. And I think, all things considered, if we look at how we're doing relative to other countries and other jurisdictions, it ain't pretty, but it could have been a whole lot worse, I think.
I don't think it's good enough, but I think compared to other countries, it's doing a better job, because I've witnessed firsthand, living abroad in Europe and seeing the pandemic situation over there and how it's handled, and it's very haphazard handling situation over there. So I think in comparison to other countries, I think Canada is doing a pretty good job, but I still think there's room for improvement.
I don't think anyone's done a good job with the pandemic. I don't think they handled it well. The measures in place came in too late, and now it's an endless cycle of going back into lockdown, back into red. I don't think it's going to end until people are vaccinated. The majority of people are vaccinated to get herd immunity, but there's no time horizon for that. The outlook is grim. I don't know where we're headed with it, really. We just opened up and we're going back to red.
Just do what you can. Look at what Biden's doing right now. He's getting stuff done. That is what I feel, and I think that Trudeau and whoever's really in charge of it should just be doing the same thing. They should just be getting people vaccinated, make the age limit not so restrictive, vaccinate more people, because this is scary for everyone. I've had a tough time, of course, just like everyone, but luckily I'm still working, and it's just the people who aren't working aren't going to get back on their feet anytime soon. The market's going to crash. It's just crazy.
I think initially we did a really good job. Initially, we took it very seriously. We shut down schools. We tried to contain it. But as things go on, I would have preferred to have seen contact tracing right from the get-go. I would have preferred to have seen some sort of restriction on travel, so that a lot of other countries, right off from the get-go, they were like, okay, you know what, they shut the travel down, and then as time went on, they started insisting that you have testing prior to coming into the country, and I felt like that was done very, very late.
I think they did a horrible job, because Canada is a great country. It's so progressive in so many ways, and we were like, the last time I heard, like 32nd on the list of countries for I don't know if that was what the metric was, whether it was getting dosages or actually vaccinating people. We're so low down. It's like, how could this be happening here? I feel like the provinces, like in Ontario, he's doing the best he can, but I think they count on the federal government to procure the vaccine, and it's just like shocking. Like, and everyone else is feeling the pain. Business people and healthcare workers. It's like, how could they not have secured dosages, vaccine for us? That is the solution to getting us out of this. So I think they did a bad job.
I think sourcing the vaccines and the whole vaccination side of it, which has been led by the federals, I think has just been poor, very poor. We need to get opened up and get our economy working and get Canadians back to traveling. I think the way they've treated the airlines and the travel side of things is terrible.
We've had lots of time to plan the rollout of the vaccine, which has been very spotty, so that's been very disappointing. As a business owner, it's all about planning, so to me I know it's difficult. At the same time, I think if they've involved more, schools and pharmacies and retired nurses and the military, we probably all could be vaccinated in a couple of months.
We should be in the top 4 or 5 nations in the world. We've got an amazing public health care system. There's no reason why it shouldn't be rolled out faster. So I am disappointed. I'm hopeful but disappointed at the moment. But I'm telling you, the Prime Minister, he's got to get his act together on this, because it's going to cost him his political career.
Thanks for watching this episode of Outburst on the Cable Public Affairs channel. I'm Glenn McGuinness. If you have any comments about this show or any other show, you can find us on social media. You can also find us on our website at www.cpac.ca. It's your turn to speak up, and we're listening.